Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with big old sugary cereal, and we'll try your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
Thunder, I'm Chris.
Alright. Classic Chrisino.
Yeah, you can call me Chrisino. Or Wily Chris.
I want to be Wily there you
Chris.
Go. You can be one of the Thunder Kittens.
You can be Jotara.
I don't know. I would just be Wily Joe then.
Maybe.
We're the Thunder Kittens. Anyway, this morning we watched ThunderCats Roar. Roar.
That's about as much roar as this show has.
Who suggested this to us?
This was suggested by hghsdkgngrngdfllnsh from Apple Podcasts.
Ah, yes.
Which I think was just a stroke of keys, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks, Stroke of Keys.
Thanks
for suggesting this. Yep.
So ThunderCats Roar aired from 2020 to 2021.
I like how you said that. You're like, ThunderCats Roar.
based on ThunderCats by Ted Wolfe, developed by Victor Courtwright and Marley Halpern Gracer, produced by Warner Brothers Animation, ran for one season, 52 episodes on the Cartoon Network. For a short synopsis, this Cartoon Network series centers around Lion-O and his wacky misadventures as he tries to defeat the evil Mumm-Ra. Yeah, I mean, basically.
I don't know. Do they ever actually set out to really defeat Mumm-Ra?
It doesn't feel like it. It seems like that's just like part of their day. They seem more focused on burritos.
Yeah, I think it's just part of their wacky adventures, is occasionally Mumm-Ra gets defeated during the course of their adventure.
Yeah, because I think there were multiple times they easily could have defeated Mumm-Ra, but they just kind of, they beat him, joked around, and then left.
Yeah.
But anyway, who are some of the actors who played in this show?
So the voices of both Lion-O and Wily Cat were provided by Max Mittelman, who has been in more anime than I could count, but you may recognize his voice as the English dub for Saitama from One Punch Man.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there you go. Panthro was voiced by Chris Jai White, who's done lots of live action and voiceover work, specifically in many Gundam series and video games, and also plays a variety of roles in different episodes of Steven Universe. Cheetara and Wily Kit were both voiced by Erica Lindbeck, who also has a huge list of anime accomplishments, as well as voices for both Marvel and DC animated series, and is one of the lead roles in Pacific Rim: The Black as Loa, which is one that I really, really want to watch because it looks awesome, and I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I've been curious about that one too. The
voices of both Tigra and Mumm-Ra were done by Patrick Seitz. And because we can't get away from it, he also has a super long list of anime and video game credits to his name. Some notable roles we may recognize him from the past couple years include the voice of Jiren from Dragon Ball Super and Endeavor from My Hero Academia.
Oh, cool.
Vulture-Man and the Burbles were both voiced by Dana Snyder. I just love the Burbles. His voice is absolutely unmistakable. If you grew up when Joseph and I did and watched Adult Swim back in its heyday when it really first kicked off, you'll know his voice as Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force and also Granny from Squidbillies.
Yeah.
He was also the voice of the ridiculous character Todd from Code Monkeys that debuted on Comedy Central around the same time, which was a show that I was a huge fan of and hope we cover sometime soon. And he's gone on to voice a lot of characters for DC, Lego Star Wars, Adventure Time, and OKKO Let's Be Heroes. And the last character I'm going to name here is Slythe, voiced by Trevor Duvall, who's voiced lots of anime and American animated series, especially for Marvel, where he's voiced traditional heroes like Captain America, Icarus, and Cyclops, to villains like Pyro, Claw, and Loki, to some of the more extremes like Rocket Raccoon and Sasquatch. Lots of Marvel characters. He's going to be voicing Beastman in the upcoming He-Man and the Masters of the Universe animated series on Netflix. Not to be confused with the one we just covered a few weeks back. This is another new Masters of the Universe series that's debuting on Netflix. This one is going to be all pretty much CG animation and much more kid-friendly in tone, according to all the articles and stuff that I've seen. So there we go. That's the cast that we are covering for today.
That's a pretty good cast for a show that, I don't know. We'll talk about it. But for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of ThunderCats Roar cereal, the show was canceled 9 months after it aired due to its low ratings. Larry Kinney, who voiced Jaga, had voiced Lion-O in ThunderCats from 1985 and Lion-O's father, Claudius, in ThunderCats 2011. That was pretty cool. The show's originally advertised release date of 2019 would have coincided with the 30th anniversary of Warner Brothers' purchase of the original series, and this show was not screened for critics.
Well,
Can't imagine why.
I don't want to be mean, but I feel like that's obvious.
You know what? Okay, before we jump into the show, we both heard of this show. We knew it was coming, but I just want to, at least on my behalf, say that if you hadn't listened to the previous episode, we were big fans of Teen Titans Go.
Yes, huge.
So everything we say about this show is not because of the art style. It's not because of the approach. We're going to have our reason. Me in particular, I'm going to have my reasons for what I say, and I will be as descriptive as I can, but I don't want people to think it's because I don't like this type of show. It's just this show itself didn't really appeal to me in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, to be like 100% transparent, we try to come in with no bias. I mean, we obviously do get hyped for some. And there are some that we know about and we kind of dread going in. But when we actually sit down to watch these shows, we try to throw all of that out the window and take it for what it is, for what's in front of us, so that we can give the purest review that we can, knowing our own personal biases and nostalgia. So that's what's going to happen. And yes, I'm going to have some very similar things to say, I think, as what you're going to have coming up.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And I also want to say I did come into this really looking forward to it too. So
I did too.
Just to put that out there.
But regardless of if you already love or hate ThunderCats Roar, you're at least listening to us talk about it, and we would love others to do the same. So if you could do us a big favor and share this episode or your favorite episodes on social media, that would be a huge, huge deal for us. So go to your favorite podcast app, hit that share button, and share it to your social media on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you do your media-ing. And tag a few friends along with it if you know some people that you think would enjoy it. That'll be a big help for us. All right, so let's roar. Bye.
So the first episode we watched for today's show was Exodus Part 1, Season 1, Episode 1. Fleeing the destruction of their home planet, Thundera, Lion-O and the Thundercats land on a world of Third Earth, but their enemies, the mutants of Plundar, have followed them, and it turns out Third Earth already has a Mumm-Ra problem.
You know what's interesting is that this actually somewhat, I don't even want to say somewhat, mostly follows the original plot. As far as the major plot points of the original Thundercats, the big beats are all still there.
Yeah, in the opening for sure. Although they really glaze over the fact that Thundera just got destroyed by having Jaga like in ghost form. They're joking about it. And as we know from the original series, like, didn't Jaga die like on the way to?
He was on the ship with them.
Yeah, but he had to like stay, like not go into stasis or something to pilot the ship. I don't remember exactly, but this is post Jaga's death, and so he's joking about
the genocide of his people,
right? And then he's like, and now I'm a ghost. Woo! And immediately, I knew coming into this like what kind of humor this was going to be. I'm going to do a comparison real quick. Teen Titans Go, I think that the humor there, even though it is like slapstick and jokey, I think it's very smartly written. I can't say that about this show. It's very much like I don't know, low-hanging fruit humor. It's just like the most basic kind of humor I could imagine, and
Sure.
almost very gag based, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it, honestly.
No, I can 100% agree with that part. It's hard to articulate that, but like I get what you're saying. I was trying to think of another way to say that too, but I get it. And that it kind of sucks because it's like within like the first minute, it sets that tone.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like, oh, all right. Okay, so we definitely aren't taking anything serious in this universe.
Yeah, and stylistically, I did appreciate like when they come out with the like trading card kind of stats when they're introducing the characters. I liked that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The goofy D&D card looking thing, or like Magic the Gathering type cards. That was cool.
Right, and that was good like run through of all our characters. Of course, we have Lion-O, Chitara, Panthro, Tigra, and then the Wily Kit and Wily Cat, like we were talking about earlier. So it describes all of them briefly, or at least mentions their names and shows their picture on those cards.
Can we dive into like the personality of these characters real quick? Just to kind of give everybody a little rundown.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, so Lion-O is a complete idiot. He is a ridiculous, overzealous hero, but he is a moron, and he does not know at all how to use the Sword of Omens. He often just throws it because he doesn't know how to fight with it.
He doesn't remember like the incantation to use it. Give me sight beyond sight. Like he doesn't say that, at least not in the episodes we watched. He just, he throws it. I think that could have worked if they had stuck with the original idea of Lion-O being a kid who was, basically aged up to become this hero, but we don't see that, the preface to that.
That is one of those like inattention to details that would have helped save a lot of grief for this show, because that would have made so much sense if they started that. He was basically the same age as like the kittens. Then he gets aged up because his little pod didn't work. So you've got the goofy, dumb, overzealous kid in the adult body. That would make sense, but they didn't go that route. So
yeah. And maybe they touch on that in an episode that we didn't see, but I assume if they were going to, they would have right then.
Panthro is Cyborg.
Yep.
In Teen Titans. They took that personality verbatim. So there's that.
Yeah.
Chitara is, how to describe her? She's kind of a narcissist a little bit. She's like one of the first things she says is she's bummed about there not being any adoring fans for her.
Yeah.
And she's the fastest person alive. So I don't know. To be honest, her personality does not stand out much from anybody else's because they all have the exact same style of humor, except for one character, which is Tigra, who I was going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Tigra is the only one of the entire group that seems to be semi-level-headed and capable of getting anything accomplished.
Yeah, Tigra is the straight man of the group, if there were one.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's not saying much. Tigra is still kind of a goofball, but he's the only one that I feel like was worth anything, really.
He would kind of be the Raven of the group, but even less serious.
Yeah, the Raven, but without that kind of snarkiness, without that attitude kind of thing that Raven has. Both of the kittens are pretty much that have the exact same personality, and it's just that they're wild kids. They're just really hyperactive and goofy, and I don't know how to describe them other than that. Like their personalities and part of Chitara's personalities, just there's not a whole lot of difference there for me, to be honest.
The characters blend together so much that I would be a little confused sometimes when some of them were talking, because I wasn't sure like which one it actually was, especially because Wily Cat and Lion-O have a very similar look to them. And with the simplistic like Cal art style they're using, which is fine design wise, it just like those characters really blend together because they have very similar color schemes and the red hair and everything. So I was having some trouble differentiating at times. And like you said, they all have the like exact same type of humor with the exception of Tigra. His is a little lighter on that, but for the most part, they're all just like parading around and using that same slapstick, that simplistic humor that I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah. I would throw Lion-O in there too, as like Lion-O, Chitara, and the kittens are all the exact same character with different names and different voices. They're basically all the same.
Yeah.
So the only ones that feel any different are Panthro and Tigra. But Panthro, like I said, feels like an exact copy of Cyborg, whereas the other 4 are all variations of Beast Boy, I would say.
Yeah, so it's like imagine Teen Titans Go with 4 Beast Boys.
With all Beast Boys.
Yeah.
Like, I think when we covered that one, I think I remember saying the one flaw I had about Teen Titans Go was that sometimes Beast Boy could get somewhat annoying. So if you have a show of all Beast Boys, oh my God, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that should tell you right there. Oh boy. You might be asking, well, what about Snarf? There's not much to say. He's a robot and he can't talk.
Yeah, Snarf does not talk in this for whatever reason, and they make him sort of a weapon.
He can't even
like cannon.
He can't even say Snarf.
No.
He can't even say his own name.
And Snarf was the hero of the original Thundercats we came to find. So I was really disappointed to see him have no personality.
Yeah, what's kind of funny here is he still remains sort of the hero anyway towards the end of this episode, which I did appreciate.
That's true. And we also get to see Snarf-Ra in a later episode.
Yeah. We do get the burbles, like Burble Bill, which I did like that. And I'm gonna say this much. As a lot of the humor bugged me in this and I didn't think was funny, the burbles crack me up. I loved them.
I felt the exact same way, and that's what I wrote down, was that they were probably my favorite part of this humor wise. Even though like their humor leans a bit on the darker side sometimes, it kind of makes it really funny or even funnier because it's so subtle, and a lot of time it's like in the background, but you're just hearing them like talk about being in intense pain. But it's like, it's okay because they're robots. But yeah, they're just really funny characters.
The standout scene for me was like, I mean, aside from when they introduced the concept that Mumm-Ra lives here, and every time you say Mumm-Ra's name, they get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
And it keeps happening over and over and over. That was a funny gag, and it kept going. And honestly, it cracked me up every time it happened. I liked that. But what got me the most was that when the Thundercats landed, they destroyed the Burbles village. Yeah. And Burble Bill's just like, oh, it's fine, we'll rebuild. And it pans over and they're all like running around on fire and screaming.
Yeah.
Oh man, that really did get me. I honest to God laughed out loud with that one. But they rebuild everything so fast. So like the next time they look over, everything's already rebuilt and it's fine.
Right.
But just their optimism about everything is so funny.
I think at one point, one of them was like, smile through the pain. Like they're just eternal optimists. And it's just so funny watching them deal with all those, all this destruction happening around them.
I feel like there's not much more to say about this episode. It goes on with like Lion-O goes on looking for the mutants that shot them down. He's threatening any type of wildlife he finds, asking about where the mutants are, but he does end up running into the mutants and threatens them, asking where the mutants are before realizing that that's the mutants. Snarf because they do that reveal where Snarf's a robot and like this huge gun comes out of him and shoots the mutants.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. So it saved Lion-O from getting killed. But the ultimate thing that saved the day, which again, I was like, wait, what? Was that all this took place on Mumm-Ra's front lawn? So Mumm-Ra shows up at the very end and slaps them all out of the way.
Yeah, he slaps the Plundar ship and then introduces himself. This was the part 1 of the 2-part first episode, but we didn't watch the second part, but we already know, this is Mumm-Ra's introduction.
Right.
And that moves us on to the second episode we watched for today's show, which was Panthro Plagiarized, season 1, episode 7. This was the highest rated, but I do want to say, by highest rated, it had a 3.1, and that was literally the highest rated episode on IMDb at least.
Oh, you guys are savages.
I know.
You're all savages out there. God bless you.
It interests me that all the episodes were actually rated, given how much like vitriol was being thrown at this show. But I was like, all right, I'll just take whichever the highest one is. And that was this one. I don't think it was the funniest one we watched, honestly, but it wasn't as bad. So in this one, I mean, we got a lot of Vulture Man at least. So in this one, Vulture Man has got a brand new invention, but there's one big problem. He stole the idea from Panthro. Oh, and Vulture Man is also using his invention to take over Third Earth. So there are two big problems.
I mean, that's the episode in a nutshell.
That's it. Moving on.
Like, a lot of this, it just comes down to gags using the devices. It's Panthro creates a gravity fork that makes the food come to your mouth. In this case, it's burritos. They are all obsessed with burritos.
Panthro saves breakfast because the burritos are too hot for them to hold with their hands to eat. So he creates that gravity fork so that it floats the food and keeps them from burning their hands. That's when Tigra goes out for a run and is like confronted by Vulture Man, who they eventually go out to save after they're done eating breakfast. And that's when he shows them that he's got this gravity pincer, and Panthro sees it as a plagiarized version or a ripoff of his gravity fork.
I do want to say, though, I did find it kind of funny that they all know Tiger's getting the crap beat out of him. Like when he goes out, like you can hear him being beaten, and they all just ignore it and keep eating their breakfast until they're finished to go outside. And he's been beat. Like, there's a really long scene of just hearing him getting beat by Vulture Man.
Tigra is one of my favorite parts of this show, period, just because he is like
same.
It's that relief from that constant like
stupidity.
Basically of four Beast Boys, because he invites them out to go for a morning jog. And they all decline, so they can eat their burritos. She's just like, all right, more sunshine and fresh air for me. And that's when he gets out and gets beat up. But they go out to save him. Like I said, Panthro sees the gravity pincer. And then really the rest of the episode is just them kind of back and forth with their gravity fork, gravity pincer. Actually, Panthro has to go rebuild it, or has to build a new device to counter it. So he builds gravity claws, which are pretty cool. And I want to say the action in this episode was really good compared to what we'd seen before. I enjoyed Panthro's fight with Vulture Man. I thought there were some really cool scenes.
Yeah, I do appreciate the animation in this episode. I think they did a really good job with that. And I would say the animation overall in the show is good. I like it a lot. I know a lot of people hate the design and the animation, and I think that was the original turnoff for everybody before they even saw it. And I think that came with, I think a lot of the review bombs came early because of it. I like it a lot. That part of it, I'm 100% behind. I would totally take any kind of show with this sort of design. That's not where the problem lies at all. So yeah, this was a really well animated one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of fun is like Vulture Man starts destroying the Burple's village, of course, because I mean, why not? And what's kind of funny is, you know, Panthro's so sensitive about Vulture Man stealing his idea, but the Burples are like, oh, we're totally defenseless against his really awesome weapon, and Panthro's like, it's mine, come on, like he's getting so upset about it. And like, even though like he's using it to destroy their place, they're still kind of like complimenting Vulture Man's work.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good.
Yeah, constantly commenting on like how much cooler of a weapon it is. And Panthro's getting so upset over that.
He pulls a Thanos like here.
Oh, yeah. So after he finally does defeat Vulture Man by breaking the gravity pincer, he is trying to force Vulture Man to admit defeat and admit that he stole the idea from him. He's not doing so. So his next move is to pull the moon down and threaten to crush Vulture Man with it. And then like he acts as if he doesn't have control of it anymore. And the moon is just slowly descending. And you see the earth kind of being destroyed in the process. Like,
oh yeah,
like
all
water.
Gravity is just destroyed as he's doing it.
Landscapes are just being like decimated, and Panthro is just like sticking with it. So Vulture Man like he eventually admits defeat and that he did steal the idea from him because Panthro used to throw ideas out, like throw his old ideas out of the window into a trash can that Vulture-Man was digging in. After he admits it, like Panthro stops like pulling the moon and like lets it go back to normal. He just wanted him to admit that he stole the idea. That was all. And he was threatening to destroy the Earth because of it. So
yeah,
that's fun.
He's just messing.
Yeah.
He's just messing.
He's just joking.
It's all good.
Yeah, but Panthro says, like, even though things look crazy on the outside, he always plays it cool. And then, like, the way the episodes end is really weird usually. In this one, it's like he does this eyebrow thing when he looks at people, or when he looks at the rest of them, saying he plays it cool, and they all try to raise their eyebrows, and then Tigra's just fall off, and then the episodes end. It's like, wait, what? Why?
I mean, it's better than the next episode. It just ends with a fart noise, and that's it.
All the episodes end with that fart noise.
That's true. Yeah. It's just...
Yeah. So that moves us on to the third episode we watched for today's show, which was Mumm-Ra, the Ever-Living, Season 1, Episode 16. This was my pick because I like Mumm-Ra, so I wanted to see what they did with him as a character. So every time Mumm-Ra gets a hold of a magic artifact to restore his powers, the Thundercats just smash it and turn it into a dinky skeleton again. Until today, that is. Because Mumm-Ra just remembered he's got the ancient spirits of evil, and now he can get swole whenever he wants.
I liked some of this episode. I don't know. I liked this episode more than all the other ones, to be honest.
Yeah. I liked Tigra in this episode especially. That ongoing joke.
Yes.
That was fun.
Well, and what makes it good too, what we talk about the joke is like all of the Thundercats keep trying to do impressions of Mumm-Ra to make fun of him, and it hurts Mumm-Ra's feelings so much. and they all basically do the same thing to do an impression of him. They're really bad impressions, but every time Tigra does it, even though he does like nothing different than all the others, they're all just like, we don't get it. Are you trying to be one of the burbles? Are you doing the burbles? But what makes that joke even funnier is that Tigra and Mumm-Ra are voiced by the same voice actor, which I think is like an even better meta joke right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good.
Yeah, so I mean, the episode is basically what I said in the description. Some of the standout parts is like when the Thundercats are coming in and destroying Mumm-Ra's ancient artifact. That's what we get as kind of a montage at the beginning, and then we see like Mumm-Ra at one point sitting there listening to headphones or listening to a tape and on his headphones, and like they come in and just break the tape player. He's like, "Oh, come on, it was just a regular tape player," and they just have to search. Yeah. They destroyed everything else in his house just to find that ancient artifact to turn him back to the regular mummy form. Eventually, he does talk to the ancient spirits of evil, or he turns or plugs them back in because they were unplugged. He thought that they had abandoned him, but he had just accidentally unplugged him at one point. So plugs them back in. They help him out. That's when he finds out he can go into his Mumm-Ra form at any time. Then they were actually really funny, the ancient spirits of evil.
Yes.
Their playing off of Tigra's joke was what made me laugh most in this whole show.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
So what ends up happening sort of towards the end to wrap the episode up is that the Thundercats are in there and trapped because Mumm-Ra, now that he can retain that form, has captured them all. So what they do, since they're playing off of doing impressions of him, is do impressions of him to the ancient spirits of evil and say the incantation to, the ancient spirits of evil transform this decayed form into Mumm-Ra, the Ever-Living. They all say that, and they all like are slowly transforming into stronger versions of themselves. Even Snarf, who can't even speak, he just does his little meows.
He's just like, Meow.
Yeah, and they fall for that too. But then the moment Tigra tries to do it, they're just like, whoa, wait a minute. Who is that? Did one of the burbles get in here? That was really good.
Yeah, that is funny. That the idea that just Tigra is so bad at impressions.
Yeah.
That was good. I loved that a lot. So basically, they're all big except Tigra. They beat the crap out of Mumm-Ra again. The spirits get unplugged again. And then they just break out of his fortress, like literally just break a hole through the wall. Tigra finally does an impression that they all laugh at. But then they all just fly away and just leave him there because he didn't get all the powers, so he has to walk across the desert by himself. And that's it.
That's it. And then just a poot again. Yeah, so not a lot happened in this episode, but it did have some good standout humor to it for me at least.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our new kids to Third Earth in cat costumes so they can learn how to save breakfast from Panthro. Then see what they thought of the show, ThunderCats Roar.
This cartoon looked like it was going to be really fun. But I mean, it was kind of, yeah.
This show was like when that weird kid at school reads to you out of a bad joke book for 11 straight minutes, and you want him to stop, but you also just moved schools so you don't know very many people and want to keep whatever friends you have made so that you actually have someone to watch better ThunderCats cartoons with after school. Or something like that.
That hit too close to home. I immediately envisioned a very specific kid when he said that.
Everybody had that kid. Everybody
I was
knew
like,
one.
dang, I remember him. Yeah. Oof. Yikes. Well, I think the cat's kind of out of the bag.
Oh.
Get it? Get it? What things did you like about the show? I mean, we did touch on a few things here and there, but let's actually spend some time and actually elaborate on some of those a little bit more.
Yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, even though they were few and far between, the fight scenes were actually pretty cool and very well done animation-wise. Specifically that Panthro Vultureman one. That's when the clean, minimalist art style that they used can really be effective since you're not as restricted by things like, proportions. It's basically just like cartoons being able to be cartoons and being completely free to move around and have exaggerated actions. Also, contrary to the original series where the burbles were super annoying, in this one, the burbles were one of the best parts of the show. They provide those little one-off side jokes that got kind of comically dark, and it was just a nice change of pace from the overwhelming amount of slapstick humor that was thrown at us. So I always appreciated when they were in a scene. And I guess also, Tigra and Panthro being slightly different personalities than the four Beast Boys that we got in the others.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you with the burbles. They're my favorite part, hands down. I love how optimistic they are with everything, with them constantly being attacked, their village always being destroyed, and they're just totally okay with it. Just that general silliness was a very welcome addition for me. And I think that is that says something when these side characters, which are purely there to be side character jokes, are more interesting and more fun than your entire main cast. So yeah, here's the one thing though I think that people will be interested in. I actually think the change to Snarf was actually really funny to me. Like I am disappointed that, at least at first I was very disappointed that he was so different. I am disappointed that he doesn't say Snarf, he doesn't say his name or anything like that. But the reveal when it happened that he was a robot, at first I was just like, I hate that. But the more I think about it and some of the gags they can do with it, like when they were dealing with those ancient statues of evil and he just made those little noises and they interpreted that as a, impression of Mumm-Ra, and they still made him like, Snarf-Ra, and like made him all huge. Like that made it funnier to me knowing that he's just a robot than like an actual like creature like the Thundercats are.
Yeah.
Like I think that was pretty funny. And just the idea that he's got all this firepower in him, but he's just this goofy little thing. Like that part to me, like I'm kind of okay with it.
I see where you're coming from, and I can agree with you in part. I think a way they could have improved that without having him, have full dialogue is to just have him in Pokemon fashion just be able to say Snarf.
Yeah.
I think that could have been a good in-between, because then you could have just had him saying Snarf and still turn into still full of the ancient spirits of evil, and that could have still had that same sort of humor to it.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that. I think that would have made it better for sure. I did like in the first episode that they stuck to some semblance of the original origin story. I mean, to me, that showed that at least there was some kind of love for the original property. I just think that they completely lost their way with their idea, or I don't know, they didn't have the checks and balances that were needed or something. And like I said, I think the animation is great. I love the animation. I love the style, the design, all of that. I am 1,000% on board with a show that looks like this. Now, what I was thinking is, and I'm going to pitch this to you just as something that my brain started to do.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, when they showed the little like character cards that, you know, me and you touched on earlier, because that was something we both liked. I was just thinking, man, I would love to see a silly little Dungeons and Dragons type show in this style.
Oh.
And I'm not talking with this amount of terrible slapstickness, but this type of animation, you know, some of the silliness of a show like this. And, you know, just a fun, silly, cute looking D&D kind of show. Man, that would be fun. I would love that.
Absolutely. And I think it could be basically like the way we play in D&D, where we're joking a lot, but we do have some serious moments in there too.
Absolutely.
I think that animation style could absolutely match with some of the sessions we've had even.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, you know, I think of it and I think of like some of our D&D podcasts and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I could totally see some of the characters we've developed in this kind of style. Like it would fit completely in some of the situations they've been in. So
that really does make me want to like design my future like D&D characters in that style now that you're mentioning it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I love this style. I would love to see more shows in a similar style as this. It doesn't need to be old IPs translated into this style. Any show.
Oh, this is out of left field, but I just thought of it. You know who Lion-O's voice, the way it was done, reminded me so much of like a Homer Simpson impression. There were so many times where he had some of the mannerisms of Homer. Like that's who I was thinking the whole time. I know it wasn't him, but it had a lot of those like similar sounds, almost like that snow ape from the Donkey Kong series we watched.
Oh yeah. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I can hear it now. As far as the dislikes, what do you like? I'm sure there's plenty, but what are the big ones?
Well, okay, and I won't say there's plenty, and a lot of what we've gone over, but I'll just reiterate some by saying I was surprised by how much I actually enjoyed Teen Titans Go, and I was expecting something similar coming into this show, having already seen that one. But it just didn't have nearly the same charm to it. So basically, this show ended up being the kind of show that I originally assumed Teen Titans Go was going to be. But where Teen Titans Go had smartly written, funny, like meta jokes, ThunderCats Roar just felt like it went the opposite direction and was just throwing out gag after gag with little time to breathe. And I think that's what it needed, was to kind of just loosen up a little bit. Maybe give a little bit more attention to Panthro and Tigra or the Burble, something just to relieve that like constant slapstick humor that we're getting with the other four characters who, especially Lion-O, get so much screen time that it makes it kind of tough to follow and you get worn out by those jokes being thrown at you so rapidly.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think a big problem was these characters. I mean, aside from Tigra, who I think is one of the few to me who was genuinely funny, or at least had funny scenes. Aside from that, I mean, Panthro was okay from time to time, but I didn't think he had anything that was truly funny, which, I mean, some of you may be looking at this and be thinking, well, you know, Thundercats aren't supposed to be funny. That's why it's like, okay, the thing is, though, that this is a comedy animation. This is a comedy show. So, yeah, the point of this was to be funny. And there were funny parts, but most of the characters were not that funny. I think Tigra was. I think Mumm-Ra was, especially because of how pathetic he was, especially in that last episode. I loved the montage of him losing over and over again. I think that was great. But most of the other characters were just eye rolls for me, especially Lion-O. I mean, not every scene with him, but a lot of them for sure. And like to your point, like when we compare this to Teen Titans Go, and we've done it a lot because how could you not? It feels like someone took a look at that show and thought, let's try to replicate that success for better or worse with another property. Now, I think they really had some roots here. I think they could have started somewhere with this. Like I honestly think had they done some things differently, they really could have developed something better. There's plenty of things that could have worked. And had they taken it and leaned more towards differentiating itself away from Teen Titans Go, then maybe, I don't know, maybe that would have helped. But like I said, they used a carbon copy of one character for Panthro. They've got 4 characters that feel just like Beast Boy and no difference between those 4 of them. At least when watching it, it doesn't feel like there is. I mean, it feels like the characters don't matter. And that is such a huge flaw in a story. You can't succeed if your characters don't feel like they have a point or don't matter. You can take so many random plot points from this show and gags from this show and could have transported it into Teen Titans Go and you would not know the difference. Like it could be in either show, but Teen Titans Go nailed the personalities and they were different enough. And you can tell that there's some heart there and it's fun. Whereas this, they relied way too much on that silly, over-the-top humor. They didn't give it the heart it needed to survive, especially for a very bold take on an older series. So, I mean, they literally, they could have had a good idea and they shot themselves in the foot by not giving it its due diligence with these characters, I think. They really messed it up.
Yeah. With all that said, what would you rate this?
In all honesty, I don't think it deserves all the hate that it got. I think it's a case of Masters of the Universe where it got review bombed by people who had trouble separating themselves from the nostalgia of the previous series and letting something new exist. However, from what I've said, obviously, I don't think it's a great show either. In fact, I wouldn't even say this show is really that good because of the amount of flaws and stuff. Like it's definitely something that now that I've seen the 3 episodes, I like how it looks. I could not sit down and watch more of it. I really couldn't. So I give ThunderCats Roar 2 bowls of Robo Snarf cereal out of 5.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the same boat here. And those 11-minute episodes, even though I really like that format most of the time, these seem to like stretch on longer than any of the other 11-minute episodes I've watched of other shows. So that really tells you something about the pacing of this. As fast as it is, like it wears you out. It wears me out. So overall, I'd give ThunderCats Roar also 2 big bowls of bad Mumm-Ra impression cereal out of 5, and had really hoped this show would be like a diamond in the rough, but instead it was just rough. So luckily cats have 9 lives, so here's hoping this franchise still has some life left in it.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope that somebody takes this and does something more with it. Though, you know, eventually I'm sure we'll get to that in-between series, the one that took place between this and the original, which I would love to see, because I've heard good things about that.
Yes, I think I have at least seen the art style of that one. I like the way it looks. Yeah. It might be kind of what the Masters of the Universe like reboot was, that was kind of in between also.
Yeah, I've read some comics, I think, that are tie-ins to that specific series. So I'm interested to see if that's the case. Before we go, we've got 2 5-star reviews with some comments here to read for you. So big thank you real quick to A. Munn, who says, I value your opinion. I absolutely felt misled about the Masters of the Universe Revelation series. As I grew up on He-Man as a kid, I've sat down and watched it and tried to stay unbiased about the show. However, the show wasn't too bad. Although I do hope for future episodes, there is a little more He-Man for us nostalgia-based watchers. Great review. Awesome. I'm glad that somebody liked that review, because that was one that we were just like, woo, we're going to take some hits for that one.
Yeah.
So
that was a really fair take that they had on it too, that they did feel misled, but they still enjoyed the show. And I think that's okay to have felt like you were getting something else, but still appreciate the show for what you got instead.
Yeah, I think so too. Our other 5-star review comes from Dr. Fun Times, which is a sketch name. I'm picturing a clown wearing a doctor outfit.
Yeah, I'm going to be tortured in some way.
Yeah. 5 big bowls of 5-star review cereal. Very often you get podcasts or YouTube channels that have a smarmy, I feel bad for kids today tone when talking about cartoons, which is obnoxious and sad. These guys don't have that problem. Each show seems like it's watched on its own merits. They're okay calling out their own nostalgia, and they really seem to try to find the good in each show, even if it's impossible. R.E. Slimer. Yeah.
Yep.
Of the 2 white guys talk about pop culture podcasts, this is a good one. They keep me company on my weekend errands. They always assume we're just 2 white guys. Like, one of us is not a white guy.
Yeah. I am Hispanic. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Joseph is not a white guy. So
we've got a little diversity in here.
You can call us one white guy and one non-white guy talk about pop culture podcast. They also say I'll toss in Future Boy Conan as a recommendation. It's hitting Blu-ray and digital later this year and is both a fantastic show and the genesis of Hayao Miyazaki.
So is this like Case Closed Conan?
I'm wondering if that's different than Case Closed.
Huh. Because we did Case Closed.
Yeah, we did Case Closed. This looks different, I think.
But is it the same character?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It is a Japanese post-apocalyptic science fiction anime series.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, that's
that
way different.
Debuted in 1978.
Right on.
Cool, man. Yeah, that sounds fun. All right. Thank you, A-Mun and Dr. Fun Times. Also, a stiff thank you to hghsdkgngrngdfllnsh from Apple Podcasts for suggesting ThunderCats Roar.
Yes.
That I will also once again remind everyone that ThunderCats Roar was voted all the way down to the bottom of the list.
Understandable.
And that is where we picked it from. We went to the bottom. That's where we grabbed it. But for the next one, we're going to go to the top.
Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, we'll be watching
Recess, submitted via Instagram by Michael J. Recon.
Finally, it's recess time.
It's recess. We get to have recess.
Yay.
Screw this place. I'm out. Sorry to go outside. Sorry, though, Joseph, you have to stay on your ventilator. You don't get to.
Oh, man, you're bringing back terrible memories. Yes.
No recess for you?
Yes, for recess, I had to, in elementary school, I had to stay inside on a nebulizer because my asthma was so bad. So recess was something I did not get to enjoy as a young child.
Nerd. I've seen it, but I didn't watch enough of it to know much about it.
Okay, I think you're in for a treat. I think this will be a fun one.
Yeah, I have not seen that much, which means that Rochelle constantly pokes fun at me for it. So
you can tell her that you've seen it, or well, you will have seen it, and you liked it probably, and then she can stop picking on you.
Yeah, how the turns table.
Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you in 2 Saturdays.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.